Okay, so today I'm going to look at a more technical view of migrating our cloud infrastructure, migrating a business suite to our cloud infrastructure. I'm going to go through some reference architectures across multiple ADs, fault domains, and sometimes cross-region replication. But to do this, it may seem like an awful lot of work to do this. You can see these diagrams can get extremely complex, but luckily enough, there is some example automation tools to help you get started with this. So I'm just going to navigate to some publicly accessible documents. Obviously, Oracle have multiple partners and customers developing their own scripts, but this is a good starting point to see the deployment architecture and how you can basically test it. So what I'm going to do now, so I've shown you how to use Terraform and the CLI and Ansible with Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So I'm just navigating over here to a GitHub public repo of Oracle's applications, and I have one for JD Edwards, but today we're looking at eBusiness Suite. So there are a number of Terraform modules here where you can configure the application tier, the network, and the database. So I will do another extremely detailed video on this, but I just want to show you how you can do this really quickly. So I have cloned the repo, and I'm just going to edit some of the, apologies about that, some of the variable files. So with this TFRs, so these override the variables in your Terraform script. So I think the default database size was 2.4, so I changed that down just to, I think, 2 cores, just to speed up the video. But you can see there is an awful lot of information here, and another really good thing here is your application servers. There are file systems mounted to the servers, and that's executed with a bash script. So how to use this module, extremely basic. You can just follow the instructions in the repo, but just make sure to have your authentication files correct. So I just showed mine here really quickly. Always keep these details safe. So that's why I blurred out some of the information there. And what you have to do is initialize Terraform. So this just checks the providers. So you can see here, you can even see my modules to create VCN, App Subnet, and Bastion servers. So this is going to mimic a real-life implementation of the eBusiness Suite infrastructure, just a sample infrastructure on Oracle Cloud. Obviously, there are a number of people developing their own ones of this. So I'm just going to cat out that plan. So with Terraform, plan that out. You can save your plans. So when you're editing the scripts, just keep saving plans, and you can see the desired architecture of your Terraform script. So I'm just going to save that file. 1 second now, please bear with me. So in total resources to be created, if you can imagine doing that through the console or through your on-premise systems, it would be an absolute nightmare. So luckily enough, there is an awful lot of automation available to you. But I do think always the main thing when you're looking at cloud implementations, the biggest question to ask is around networking and how you want to access your new environment. So you can see here there's also a lot of generated OCIDs. So OCIDs would just be your similar to AWS ARN or Amazon resource names. So I just saved that file there. You will notice a lot of similarities, but I do think with the eBusiness Suite you wouldn't have the same automation tools available to you, and Oracle fully supports Oracle Linux on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So I'm going to hit yes here for my Terraform apply. There's going to be 47 total resources to be created in my environment. It's a huge number. So we are going to have 2 database systems running on database cloud service, a number of application servers, and also we're going to have 1 virtual cloud network with multiple subnets, and that means multiple security lists and route tables. And we also are going to have a couple of Bastion servers to help you get to access your environment safely. So you can see here I have my application security list and my Bastion security list and things like that. So this will take a bit of time to create, and I'm just going to look at the file system. So the file system should be up pretty quickly, so that's not as much burden on the system as the database creation. So let me just check that. Okay, so they are up. So you would mount these file systems to your application servers. So you can basically share a directory basically with the servers. So these are my previous WebLogic servers from my JD Edwards provisioning. So let me just look at the databases. So let me refresh that. Okay, so my two databases are being provisioned. So it looks like the two databases have to be provisioned first ahead of the bastions. So we can see here they're being provisioned in my newly created virtual cloud network. So while this is provisioning, so this will take a bit of time to provision because you are provisioning to Oracle Extreme Performance databases with all the Enterprise Edition options, such as Active Data Guard, and you can configure your options to which you want to do, including spatial partitioning and things like that. So while that is provisioning, I just want to show you something else that I've been working on, and that is the eBusiness Suite Cloud Manager. So this is a virtual machine image which you can run on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure to basically manage your whole eBusiness Suite lifecycle. So it's available on the Cloud Marketplace, and I have already gotten the application and I've launched it. So you can provision your infrastructure with Terraform, but if you want an even more graphical user interface, once you're networking and that is up and running, you can use this image basically to automate the database creation, backups. If you want to clone from on-premise, you can install a utility on your on-premise database, or if you want to migrate to object storage and instantiate the database from there. So I'm just going to log in with the user I created. So this is the eBusiness Suite Cloud Manager, which has been recently updated. So you can see here you can configure backups of your application tier or database tier, and you can also choose Exadata if you wish. You can do simple installs and fresh installs. Typically I would do the detailed install, but I'm just going to click through your parameters here. And I will record a video on actually how to set this up, because there is quite a long My Oracle support document showing how to do this. But this is where a lot of customers would play around, and partners as well. Many partners are developing their own tools like this. So provision from an object storage backup, that would be the database migration from on-premise to the cloud. So I've only a couple of subnets here visible due to a policy I have on this cloud manager. And you can pick where you want to deploy your database, whether that be on database cloud service, compute instance, or Exadata. And you do have a lot of topologies here, and it's really, really great, this tooling, to make OCI the ideal place to run eBusiness Suite. So I'm just going to pause the video and let my script run. So I'm going to navigate to my databases, so we can see my databases are up. And obviously they have private IP addresses, no public IPs due to security. So to access the databases, you can essentially SSH to your Bastion server and then do a port forward via the private IPs with SQL Developer. I have a video on that. And obviously with the 12c onward database, it's a different architecture. It's a container database with multiple pluggable databases. At the moment, we just certify one pluggable database, and that would be your eBusiness database on each of the nodes. To go further here, you could enable Data Guard or Active Data Guard on the databases if you wish. We can go through that. But I always say the biggest thing about migrations is the data migration. So just some ways to migrate your Oracle database to the cloud, such as plug, unplug, and data lift and shift. So more than happy to go through that if you wish. But this is just an example of the infrastructure automation of eBusiness on Oracle Cloud. And if there is any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.